Krishna. Now we're being recorded. Look out. Hare Krishna. So we're continuing our prayers on the Bhagavatam, and we're just getting going. We've only just covered Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1. And yesterday or the day before, I was playing around with this nice app on my phone that has all the songs of the Acharyas. And I came across a title which said Prayers of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And lo and behold, it lists an exhaustive list of all the prayers in Bhagavatam, more than what the original list I was working from. And I know that original list, there were some prayers missing, but it would mean having to go through systematically the whole of the Bhagavatam to actually identify all the prayers. But this app I have has done it for me, so I'm very happy about that. So it's got all the prayers from every canto. So without further ado, here actually in this listing here under Mangala Charan, we have verses 1.1.1, 1.1.2, and 1.1.3. So in other words, what I'm saying is the first 3 verses of Bhagavatam. So we've done the first verse. So we're going to go through verses 2 and 3. And I hope that's okay with everyone. Does that sound okay?
Yes, it
Any
is.
objections?
Yeah, it should be fun.
Okay.
Will you be able to share those bhajan link you said about?
I will. I can do that after.
Okay,
No problem.
thanks.
Yeah,
It's very good.
you.
It's nicely presented. It's nicely presented and it's well done. All right, so let me share the Srimad Bhagavatam, the screen. Oh dear, where's it gone? Why is it not there? Okay, documents, will it be there? No, screens, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Chandravali, Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. So I'm just saying, just before you came, that I found do you know that list that you sent me?
Yeah.
I don't think it was exhaustive. It didn't include all the prayers in Bhagavatam, but I happened to find a nice listing on a app, in the songbook app, and that's got all the prayers.
Oh,
so that's good. So yeah, I can share that with you after. Okay, now I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. I'm trying to share my screen. My desktop, that's what I'm sharing. That's why. Okay. So you can see my desktop now, I presume.
Yep.
Okay, let me just. Okay, now you see the Bhagavatam?
Uh-huh.
And you can just see the Bhagavatam, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So what I do is I'm just going to read through the first verse, which we have covered. I'll just read the Sanskrit and the translation. Then we can go into the rest of the Mangala Charan for Bhagavatam, which is text 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I'll just read this. Sorry, I'm scrolling up and down. Hoping I'm not making you dizzy. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadiya Shayato Navayat Iteras Chetusu Apigana Sarat Tena Brahma Hrityat Adhikavaye Muyumti Yat Surayaha Tejo Vari Mitam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Tishagora Mishra Damnana Swena Sada Narasta Kuhukam Satyam Param Dhimahi. So for those of you who have Gayatri mantras, you recognize this Dhimahi. Yeah. Okay. So the translation is, O my Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no cause other beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge under the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Okay, so there's the first verse of Mangalacharan. So scrolling down. And this text 2 also has a lengthy purport, but not as lengthy as text 1, as far as I remember. All right, so here we go. Text 2, 1.1.2. The prayers, as we understand, are Srila Vyāsadeva. Okay, before beginning this epic recital of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, was someone like to have the great privilege of reading this verse? Are we doing the Sanskrit?
Could read these ones because these are really important.
Yeah, okay. So let's try our best to read the Sanskrit, or whoever likes to read.
I can read, but is there a noise in the background? I have something going that's like a noise. Is that okay?
Yeah, we can't hear. It's clear.
You
Your
can't
voice
hear
is
it. Oh,
very clear.
great. Okay. So I'll read it then. Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavam atra vastu vishivadam tapa trinon malanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamani Kirte Kim Va Parayarishvara Sadyo Hirdi Avar Yudyate Tra Kritibi Susrus Subis Tatsanat. Translation: completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, the Bhagavata Purāṇa propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are pure, fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyāsadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart.
Yes.
Purport. Religion by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Religion includes four primary subjects, namely pious activities, economic development, satisfaction of the senses, and finally liberation from material bondage. Irreligious life is a barbarous condition. Indeed, human life begins when religion begins. Eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating are the four principles of animal life. These are common both to animals and to human beings. But religion is the extra function of the human being. Without religion, human life is no better than animal life. Therefore, in human societies, there is some form of religion which aims at self realization and which makes reference to man's eternal relationship with God. In the lower stages of human civilization, there is always competition to lord over the material nature, or in other words, there is continuous rivalry to satisfy the senses. Driven by such consciousness, man turns to religion. He thus performs pious activities or religious functions in order to gain something material. But if such material gains are obtainable in other ways, then so-called religion is neglected. This is the situation in modern civilization. Man is thriving economically, so at present he is not very interested in religion. Churches, mosques, or temples are now practically vacant. Men are more interested in factories, shops, and cinemas than in religious places which were erected by their forefathers. This practically proves that religion is performed for some economic gains. Economic gains are needed for. Next page.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Up. Yeah.
Are needed for.
You can see.
Yes, are needed for sense gratification. Often, when one is baffled in pursuit of sense gratification, he takes to salvation and tries to become one with the Supreme Lord. Consequently, all these states are simply different types of sense gratification. In the Vedas, the above mentioned four activities.
So just pause
Yeah.
there. I think we can just pause after every 2 paragraphs. Otherwise, we'll end up just spending the whole session on 1 paragraph, which is not so bad. But any immediate questions or comments here? Anyone know the Sanskrit for these terms just highlighting here? These
Dharma,
4
Artha,
terms.
Karma, Moksha.
Yeah, Dharma, Artha, Karma, and Moksha. Yeah. Yeah, these are so religion includes those 4 primary subjects. Finally, there's liberation from material bondage. Yeah. Okay.
I was thinking, Prabhu, when
So,
you were
yeah.
reading, when this para reading, it's talking about the religion very much. But nowadays, many they say, "I am not religious, but I am spiritual.
Spiritual.
I
Yeah.
am not religious," as if it is a crime to be religious, and that's how they portray. I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious.
Yeah. It's an interesting phenomena. I mean, myself, I was attracted to read to Krishna consciousness because it wasn't presented as a religion. It was
Yeah.
presented as a science of self-realization. And that's what attracted me.
Yes.
Because I had that same, at least I did, had that same adversity, which a lot of people in general have.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's due to it's sometimes it can be understandable due to the atrocities with, for instance, in the Catholic Church, etc.
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
People have a kind of a bad connotation or bad impression of religion, but still they have a drive to, they have a drive to be, that there must, to some type of practice, so they call it spiritual. Yeah, so just, yeah.
Prabhu, religion was created by people to manipulate and control people. Religion is not actually spirituality. Spirituality might be religion, but religion itself, it's not spirituality. And what we do, Krishna consciousness, is not religion. It's science. It's very,
Yeah.
very serious science. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's not religion. And there is no way set in Vedas that you have to do. If you don't do that, you will die or you will be punished or something. Regulations. There are no. Always you have choice. You have free choice and you have options. And if you do something, know why you're doing. This is science. Whilst in man-made religions, there are like regulations. You have to follow the government regulations. Yeah. So that's big difference. When people asking what's your religion, I said my grandson Ugra Narasimha is my religion, and my granddaughter Devi Radhika is my religion. No, my God is Ugra Narasimha, my grandson, and my religion is my granddaughter Devi Radhika. So this is smooth. They control me.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Any other comments on that? I think, yeah, that's a good description. Although what I discovered is when I took up Krishna consciousness, it was quite clear to me that I had become religious, but not from the perspective which you're
Of religion. Yeah.
yeah, actually, because real religion is is real religion is what we're teaching, or what Srimad Bhagavatam is teaching. Yeah, it is. There's to describe completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated. Yeah, so this is what Mother Jambavati is saying. Yeah, so like that, we reject all the religious institutions or practices which are materially motivated, because that is actual, not real religion.
Yeah.
Real religion is what is described here. It's the highest truth. It's just exactly what this verse is saying.
Yeah.
And those who are pure in heart, they can, they can understand it. That's real spiritual practice. So that's the real religion. Yeah. So, and in this paragraph, the second paragraph as well, there's one interesting person. I tried to find a quote which I sent to one devotee. It's called, he's a Christian scholar. He's Orthodox, Christian Orthodox scholar. And I've read one book of his. It's quite interesting. He's read Prabhupada's books, and he's studied the Upanishads. So he has quite an interesting take on things. And he mentions I was trying to find a quote, it's quite a good quote, but basically what I'm trying to say is that he mentions that man's deepest question today is basically how much does it cost? That's the deepest question people ask in life. How much does it cost? They're so enamored by material acquisition that it's practically become the religion of the modern world. Is to buy things, is to have things, is material acquisition, So people have very shallow, not all, but generally people have very shallow lives without any spiritual practice. Yeah, that the deepest question they ask is how much does it cost? I thought that's quite interesting the way he explained it, But anyway, any other questions here? Anything you want to bring out? Yeah, this is a common thing Prabhupada often says, that when one's material needs are met, then one's spiritual stroke religion is put to one side. He said it's neglected. So, but we see, isn't it, during or after COVID or during some type of disaster, people become quite, I don't know if religious, but they become interested again, or they become interesting about the deeper things in life. When all around them, which they seem to invest some security, becomes insecure, they have no other place to go but to inquire more deeply about the point of life, So then, there's been a bit of a revival from some aspects. I was seeing recently, there's a bit of a revival of people becoming church-going Christians again. Yeah, there is a general decline, but within a decline, there's been an interest again. There's some named people who have recently converted to Christianity. One of them is he was interested in Krishna consciousness. What's his name? Comedian. He used to come to the temple and meet Radha Swami.
Russell Brand.
Yeah, Russell Brand.
Yeah, Russell Brand. I saw him on an interview. He kneeled down on his knees and he was praying to Jesus and giving a whole speech about it. So
yeah, so he's become a converted, he's a Christian.
Prabhu, this is not genuine conversion. This is not genuine like us, because they're being paid for this. They're being paid and they're acting. Whatever it's said, they're acting that role.
Yes.
If it will be said, become a Muslim, he will become Muslim and he will be presenting Muslims. So this is not genuine feelings like us. They just
okay, but I mean, I give a bit of charity to him, so at least let's see where he is in 5 years' time, Let's see how his
Yeah.
commitment.
I mean, is he still going to do his like kirtans with Radhika Das?
I haven't heard of anything since. He's
Yeah.
I haven't
He's
heard.
probably
So
going to have gospel singers or something instead.
yeah, so I thought that was a positive for him. Okay, it's not pure devotional service, perhaps, but still, I thought that was I thought that was
He
admirable.
has accepted the path. He has accepted the
Considering his lifestyle, he's now taken up Christian
Yeah.
practice. Of course, the test of time will see how he fares in that religious commitment. But he's one. There's another example as well of forget her name, Haile Ashi something. I forget. I can never pronounce her name. But she was. Do you know we have these four horsemen atheists? You got Richard Dawkins, Sam Harris, who's it, Christopher Hitchens. Anyone heard of these names? They're
Richard
like
Dawkins.
they're like big atheists in a secular world who wrote books and making, doing big speeches on atheism and quite well known. They're known as a false horse. And there was one fifth one, and she was this lady. She comes from Somalia, and she was very strongly spoken out against religion because she was brought up in the Islam culture, and she went through quite some difficulties and struggles, and some horror stories, and then she came over to Europe, and she became atheistic, and she's very intelligent the way she expresses herself, and she's very well known in academic circles, and she recently and she would blaspheme not only Islam, and she's got a what do they call it when they put a death sentence on someone who leaves Islam. She's got a death sentence, and anyway, I'm going off the track here. I'll try and get back on. Let me keep it. Let me try and keep
It's
it.
a fatwa.
Yeah, fatwa. She had a fatwa,
Yeah.
and she did some documentary film about her upbringing. So it was anti-Islam, and the person who made it, the producer, he got beheaded. And a note was left on his chest saying that she is next. But she's quite fearless, and she's quite fearless. She's still speaking against the rise of. Anyway, let me get to the point. The point is that she became a Christian about a year ago. She had a conversion, and I watched the interview between her and Richard Dawkins, who's an atheist, and it's very interesting. She described, if you take away, she had a crisis in her life, even though she was quite well known academically and etc., that she had a crisis. Anyway, the point is, what I'm getting to is that she took to, not Krishna consciousness, but she became converted from a well-known atheist to a Christian, and that attracted many, many people to have an interest again in church and in Christianity and in religion. She had a massive influence. And anyway, Hare Krishna. How did we get there? Yeah, Prabhupada is saying that man is thriving, more interested in shops and cinemas than in places in churches, mosques, or temples. Anyway, Hare Krishna. I try and think of her name and share. If anyone's interested, can message me personally, and I can share the interview that she has. Okay, but anyway,
all with water. Sorry, I just short. All with water, this is illusion. And unless you sell your soul, you will not become famous. You'll not write your book. Your book will not go. You'll not go on TV. Everybody knows. I've been here. I was in business, and I know very well what I'm talking about. So everything what they're doing, what they're pretending, they're showing like movie for us, silly beings, to believe it. But everything is being paid, and scenario is being pre-written in advance. for us to believe that this is natural, that this is genuine. Nobody, like there is shortcuts. There are no shortcuts that people become famous out of blue. No, they sold. And I know what I'm doing. So that's it. This is drama. This is illusion. But exactly what Prabhupada said. This is not real. This is surreal, So
No, I mean, yeah, okay. So it may be not. It's definitely. I mean, not that they're not taking the principles that is prescribed here in the Bhagavatam, pure devotion.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's it. And they're not worth us to admire them or to talk or to something meditate on. But we have plenty of examples to meditate on.
Yeah, but also this verse brings out, and this purport as well, it just brings out it. Also, Jiva Goswami mentions, this verse in Bhagavad Gita, Chato Vida Bhajanti Mam Juna Sukritina Aduna Ati Jignasi Atati Gani Chirpadasabha. Like we come to Krishna consciousness for various reasons, and most of them are material. It mentions we come looking for wealth, we come because we're distressed, we come because we're maybe inquisitive or we're seeking knowledge. So Jiva Goswami, he categorizes that as cheating. If we come to Krishna consciousness, so it's good opportunity to reflect upon our motive in taking up Krishna consciousness. But what is hoped is that the motive gets purified. And when we hear about pure devotion, we can learn, and as we get purified, we can take up pure devotional service. But we also come in the category of being materially motivated. Yeah, so it's something to reflect upon. Okay.
We have those four kinds of people who come, don't they? So
sorry?
There's four kinds of people who come to Krishna.
Yeah, that's the verse I was quoting. Chaturvida Bhajanti Mam. Yeah, so Jiva Goswami says all this is cheating. So in other words, Dhruva was cheating, Gajendra was cheating, the sages now and Shrimanya were cheating. But because they came in touch with pure devotees, or they was blessed by darshan of the Lord, they became pure-hearted. Yeah, Dhruva was cheating from from this perspective,
Yeah,
but at least.
Sorry.
But akamo shava kamova, even if you do have desires, you have no desires, you're full of desires, just go to Krishna. But that's what's glorious about Bhagavatam, is it just describes pure devotion throughout. So that's why it's been glorified in this wonderful verse, Sorry, Mother Chandravali, I cut you off.
No, it's okay. I was just thinking that even if you go to Krishna with desires, even when you are in Krishna conscious, if they're going to be detrimental to you, Krishna's not going to give it to you, or he gives it to you with the understanding that you will get fed up with it and you'll never ask for something like that again.
Yeah, there's a verse that describes that exactly. Krishna fulfills the desires of his devotee who approach. He fulfills the material desires of a devotee who approaches him, but he does not fulfill material desires if they're going to ask for the same again and again and again. So he fulfills it in such a way that one becomes tvam kinchana gochara. They become fed up and they don't want it. So Dhruva is an example of that. So that's the kindness of Krishna.
Prabhu, if someone comes to Krishna consciousness, looking purpose of life, what is next, and maybe person is distressed, but the person wants to understand what is the purpose of life, what has
they're
to
inquisitive,
do.
no? They're searching for knowledge. Yeah.
So but purpose of life, how do you say that's cheating, Prabhu? Because we want to understand.
Well, from the point of view that, let's just take the example. The only persons who are not cheating are the residents of Vrindavan.
Okay, on that high level, okay.
Yeah, so from that perspective, they're the ones who are really, worshipping with a heart that's pure, that's completely purified. So other than that, we're all at different levels. Yeah.
Yeah, in this world, there is nothing called pure here in this world. Yes.
There is, sorry?
There's nothing pure in this world anyway. Everything has a.
Yeah, although the devotees, we may not be pure in heart, but we're pure in intention.
Yes. Yeah.
Our intention is pure, and we have a pure goal.
Yeah.
Okay, we might be coming with a bit of baggage.
Yeah.
But at least we're trying to identify that baggage and we're trying to throw it overboard.
Okay. Yeah.
Trying our best to identify the baggage. As we go on in Krishna consciousness, then we come to terms with different material motivations in our devotional practice. But then we identify it and we take shelter of Bhagavatam and we try and serve in the mood of exalted devotees. Yeah. I was trying to do that this morning while I was cooking breakfast. I was a bit tired. I was feeling a bit, oh, well, perhaps I shouldn't have took up this service. But then I said, no, let me do this service. Let me try and meditate upon, the cooking for Krishna, like that. Right. Welcome, Mother Nalini. I think I saw your name coming.
Haribol.
Haribol. Thank you for joining us. All right, let's edge on, shall we? Let's read the next paragraph. Any readers, or you like to continue, Mother Lavanga? Might be quicker if you continue. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll continue.
Impersonal aspect, I think.
Sorry?
The impersonal aspect.
Yeah. The impersonal aspect of the Absolute Truth is not the highest. Above the impersonal feature is the Paramatma feature. And above...
We did 2 paragraphs, right?
Also, we read. Oh, sorry, my mistake.
In the Vedas.
In the Vedas, yes.
We only read 2 paragraphs.
Yeah.
In the Vedas, the above-mentioned 4 activities are prescribed in the regulative way, so that there will be not any undue competition for sense gratification. But Srimad Bhagavatam is transcendental to all these sense gratificatory activities. It is purely transcendental literature, which can be understood only by the pure devotees of the Lord, who are transcendental to competitive sense gratification. In the material world, there is keen competition between animal and animal, man and man, community and community, nation and nation. But the devotees of the Lord rise above such competitions. They do not compete with the materialist because they are on the path back to Godhead, where life is eternal and blissful. Such transcendentalists are non-envious and pure in heart. In the material world, everyone is envious of everyone else, and therefore there is competition. But the transcendental devotees of the Lord are not only free from material envy, but are well-wishers to everyone, and they strive to establish a competitionless society with God in the center. The contemporary socialist's conception of a competitionless society is artificial because in the socialist state there is competition for the post of dictator. From the point of view of the Vedas, or from the point of view of common human activities, sense gratification is the basis of material life. There are 3 paths mentioned in the Vedas. One involves fruitive activities to gain promotion to better planets. Another involves worshipping different demigods for promotion to the planets of the demigods. And another involves realizing the absolute truth and his impersonal feature and becoming one with him.
Okay, let's just that's quite an amazing paragraph by Srila Prabhupada here. Any insights or comments here? Anything you want to bring out here?
I was thinking the last few lines, like not mention about any like devotional service. It's like 3 fruitive activity.
There are 3 paths mentioned in the Vedas.
Yeah.
Karma Kanda is one, I think. Fruitive activities, promotion to higher planets. Another worship different demigods, promotion to the planet of the demigods. So it's the same, isn't it?
It's the same as the first one, yeah.
Yeah, as far as
it's impersonal, merging.
Gyanis, Gyanamag, Karma Kanda. Yeah, but here at this point, there are 3 paths One involves activities to gain promotion to better planets. So am I correct? That's like Karma Kanda mentioned in third chapter, Bhagavad Gita, I think. Another involves worshipping different demigods for promotion to the planets of the demigods. Is that different from the first one? It's the same.
Planets, I mean, there's different kind of planets. There's demigod planets. There's like different planets. I don't know why, different places.
Anyway, but so we're over analyzing it, but yeah, then you got the Ganis. Yep. So yeah. But here I always like the way Prabhupada's described a non-competent and a society to establish a competitionless. How do you pronounce that? A competitionless society with God in the center. Yeah. So yeah, this is everyone's trying to outdo everyone else, you know. What do they call it? Call it trying to keep up with the Joneses. Have you heard of that term?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The Joneses build a shed in the back garden, so the Smiths want to build a shed in their back garden. Everyone's envious of what other people have. So that's unfortunately, that's one of the qualifications for coming to the material world, is that, or staying in the material world, that one is envious. So Prabhupada says everyone is envious of everyone else. So it doesn't make for a very nice place, you know. But devotees, they're pure in heart, sort of free of envy. We should be. Yeah. Sorry?
I said basically we all want to be Krishna, the post of dictator. We want to be things.
Yeah, gross or subtle.
Yes.
Gross or subtle. Yeah, Prabhupada often speak about the socialist system. And he would meet with he met with one person, and Prabhupada had quite an impression on him when he brought out this point that, you are not competition because someone is vying for the post of dictator. And as we know, in communist society, or in these, what they call it, in these socialist, not socialist state, or what they call it, North Korea, what type of state is that? That's
communist.
Communist, yeah. But the best position to have is a position in the army ranks. Then you get good housing, you get good food, you get what the common person doesn't. So everyone really is envious and trying to obtain those positions within a so-called competitionless society. It's artificial. Someone wants to be the leader, and we know what happens if anyone speaks one word against the leader. That's it. They're finished. They're finished. So there's a lot of so-called. I mean, I'm not exactly. We're not fans of democracy exactly. Probably we'll call it demon crazy. But it does have its advantages. Where we can practice Krishna consciousness, for example. But
Prabhu, that was exactly in Soviet Union, because that's why
Yeah.
we have so many devotees coming from post-Soviet countries.
Yeah,
Because in Soviet country, it was also, you could not dress nicely, because if you dress nicely, it means you have connections with TGV spies or something. And
with the
as
West.
uglier you are, as better. And that's why people had nothing to lose. That's why we came to Krishna consciousness. We were coming, we were looking. And that mentality needs 7 generations to change the mentality. And those devotees who are coming, they still have that mentality from Soviet regime that's coming.
Yeah, it's in the air, it's in the blood, it's in the psyche.
Yes, yes, in the genes. It's in genes, probably.
Yeah, but the main point is that, let's bring out what Prabhupada is saying here in the purple, is that the material world, generally one person's envious of another person. Yeah, and only if society or individuals are focused on God consciousness can one actually be free of envy, Prabhupada says in the material world there is competition between animals, man and man, community and community. Especially today, it's always been like it, but it seems to be getting worse between nation and nation. Yeah. So the devotees rise above such competitions. Yeah. All right, let's read this next, unless there's any more comments or questions on that.
Murli Prabhu quickly answered to Nalini. Mataji, she's writing.
Using the chat. Okay, great. Okay. Hare Krishna and everyone. I just found out about your group, unfortunately, but we'll definitely like to join again. Busy with Didi saving out. Jai, serving the Lord. Hare Krishna. No problem. Hare Krishna. All right. Let's share the reading out a bit. I guess anyone eager to read there?
I'd like to read.
Go ahead. The impersonal aspect. So Prabhupada's going in another direction now.
Yeah.
Right. Purple.
The impersonal aspect of the absolute truth is not the highest. Above the impersonal feature is the Paramatma feature. And above this is the personal feature of the absolute truth, or Bhagavan. Srimad Bhagavatam gives information about the absolute truth in his personal feature. It is higher than impersonalist literature and higher than the Jnana-kanda division of the Vedas. It is even higher than the Karma-kanda division and even higher than the Upasana-kanda division, because it recommends the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. In the Karma-kanda, there is competition to reach heavenly planets for better sense gratification, and there is similar competition in the Jnana-kanda and the Upasana-kanda. The Srimad Bhagavatam is superior to all of these because it aims at the supreme truth, which is the substance or the root of all categories. From Srimad Bhagavatam, one can come to know the substance as well as the categories. The substance is the absolute truth, the Supreme Lord, and all emanation are relative forms of energy.
Okay. Just a little point here. Upasana Kanda, that's hymns and prayers of glorification. Sometimes Prabhupada designates Krishna consciousness as Upasana Kanda. But here he's making a different distinction, because Upasana Kanda, that part of the Vedas, it is prayers and stutis glorifying the demigods. Yeah. So he mentions that higher than the Karma Kanda is the Upasana division. Oh, no, he says here, yeah, even higher than the Upasana division, because it recommends the worship of the Supreme Person of Godhead. Yeah, excuse me. Papa is saying it directly here. Yeah. Let's see here, yeah. No, he says it. In the Karma Kanda, there is a competition to reach the heavenly planets for better sense gratification. And he says here, look, and there is similar competition in the Jnana Kanda and Upasana Kanda. So here he speaks it in a different light. Yeah, so that Upasana Kanda is referring to worship the Devas. But here, even higher, even higher than the Upasana Kanda division, because okay. Sorry, I'm getting confused myself. I'm probably confusing you all as well.
That line, it is even higher than Karma Kanda division.
So it is higher.
Upasana Kanda.
Higher than the Upasana division.
Yeah.
Is
and then it's recommended.
Yeah, is worshipping the personality himself, from which everything comes. Yeah. All right, you can read a bit more. Let's see how many paragraphs here. Okay. Why don't you do this? Why don't you read through to the end of the purple? Then we can cover the verse.
Okay, nothing is apart from the substance, but at the same time, the energies are different from the substance. This conception is not contradictory. Srimad Bhagavatam explicitly promulgates this simultaneously, one and the different philosophy of the Vedanta Sutra. which begins with the Janmadi Asya Sutra. This knowledge that the energy of the Lord is simultaneously one with and different from the Lord is an answer to the mental speculators' attempt to establish the energy as the absolute. When this knowledge is factually understood, one sees the conception of monism and dualism to be imperfect. Development of this transcendental consciousness, grounded in the conception of the simultaneously one and different, leads one immediately to the stage of freedom from the threefold miseries. The threefold miseries are: 1, those miseries which arise from the mind and body; 2, those miseries inflicted by other living beings; and 3, those miseries arising from the natural catastrophes over which one has no control. Srimad Bhagavatam begins with the surrender of the devotee unto the absolute person. The devotee is fully aware that he is one with the absolute, and at the same time in the eternal position of the servant to the absolute. In the material conception, one falsely thinks himself the lord of all his surveys, and therefore is always troubled by the threefold miseries of life. But as soon as one comes to know his real position as transcendental servant, he at once becomes free from all miseries. As long as the living entity is trying to master material nature, there is no possibility of his becoming servant of the Supreme. Service to the Lord is rendered in pure consciousness of one's spiritual identity. By service, one is immediately freed from material encumbrance. Over and above this, Srimad Bhagavatam is a personal commentation on the Vedanta Sutra by Sri Vyāsadeva. It was written in the maturity of his spiritual life through the mercy of Narad. Sri Vyāsadeva is the authorized incarnation of Narayan, the personality of Godhead. Therefore, there is no question as to his authority. He is the author of all other Vedic literature, yet he recommends the study of Srimad Bhagavatam above all others. In other Puranas, there are different methods set forth by which one can worship the demigod. But in the Bhagavatam, only the Supreme Lord is mentioned. The Supreme Lord is the total body, and the demigods are the different parts of this body. Consequently, by worshipping the Supreme Lord, one does not need to worship the demigods. The Supreme Lord becomes fixed in the heart of the devotee immediately. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended the Srimad Bhagavatam as the spotless Purana and distinguished it from all other Puranas. The proper method of receiving this transcendental message is to hear it submissively. A challenging attitude cannot help one realize this transcendental message. One particular word is used herein for proper guidance. This word is shu, 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 shu. One must be anxious to hear this transcendental message. The desire to sincerely hear is the first qualification. Less fortunate persons are not at all interested in hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. The process is simple, but the application is difficult. Unfortunately, people find enough time to hear idle social and political conversations, but when invited to attend a meeting of devotees to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, they suddenly become reluctant. Sometimes professional readers of Bhagavatam immediately plunge into the confidential topics of the pastimes of Supreme Lord, which they seemingly interpret as sex literature. Srimad Bhagavatam is meant to be heard from the beginning. Those who are fit to assimilate this work are mentioned in this sloka. One becomes qualified to hear Srimad Bhagavatam after many pious deeds. The intelligent person throughout discrimination can be assured by the great sage Vyāsadeva that he can realize the Supreme Personality directly by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Without undergoing the different stages of realization set forth in the Vedas, one can be lifted immediately to the position of Paramahansa simply by agreeing to receive this message.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. All right, so let's just read the translation again, and then we'll go if anyone has any comments or questions about what we just read. Yeah. So completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavata Purāṇa propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyāsadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively, and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within the heart. Okay, isn't that a wonderful invitation to read the Bhagavatam? But specifically, what was brought out, amongst other things, in those last paragraphs, is to hear it with great attention and submissive. Be as soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message. So, and the words Prabhupada uses, it's really wonderful. He says the culture of knowledge. So that's the development of Krishna consciousness. Then the Lord is established within the heart. Just by that. So we want to know, how can I become Krishna conscious? Well, here you go. You just hear Bhagavatam. Yeah. And then by culturing the knowledge in the Bhagavatam, we can realize the Supreme Lord. And any curiosities or questions here, anything which kind of struck you like to bring out here?
I found somewhere, I was looking for it, where it said, like you would have done so much pious activities to be able to read Srimad Bhagavatam. This one. I can't find it where I just read it.
Yeah, so one is understood to have, or
yes,
to come in contact with, or to hear Bhagavatam from the devotees. It says that, yeah, one is supremely, divinely pious. It's not material piety that brings you, that gives you this opportunity.
The spiritual piety.
Yeah. Knowing or unknowing spiritual credits in a previous life,
Yeah, I read it and I couldn't.
So
we have so many Srimad Bhagavatams being distributed. Now it's a competition distributing Srimad Bhagavatams. And lots of people, they are not even. Yeah.
Yeah, there's Bhagavatams everywhere now. There's Bhagavatams in every room. So
how do we explain this?
How do we explain it? This is this is good, isn't it?
It's good. What I
this
meant
is just
was,
for your mercy.
Sorry, I'm near my mat to just let I say again, Maharaj Kishore.
What I meant was, suddenly so many people become pious because they're giving out sets like in hundreds and thousands. And,
well, yes, that's
and
the
majority haven't even practiced Krishna consciousness, or they haven't heard of it, and they keep buying them and being distributed. So how do we compare that piety with the piety it says in this verse that you would have been very pious for a few past lives?
Yeah, well, this is the benediction of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. Yeah, even those who may be unqualified They can hear the holy name. They can come in contact with the devotees of the Lord, and even they can come. They can, like, for instance, on Janmashtami, there's a few people just walking through Soho Street. They stopped and they walked off with a Srimad Bhagavatam set. So this is the causeless mercy of the Sankirtan movement. But having said that, one has to do more than just have the books as an ornament on the
I was
shelf.
going to say that, yes.
You have to, that's why I said the culture of knowledge. You actually have to open it, you have to read it with submission. And also it's good to, although we have Prabhupada's purports, also we should hear Bhagavatam as well. We should hear recital Bhagavatam from the devotees. So definitely it's they've definitely been blessed and they have a great opportunity, but still they have to take up that opportunity. I mean, a lot of people, have the Bhagavatam or have our books on their shelves as some type of ornament. But it's not for that. It's actually meant for reading, serious reading and study and application of what they actually read. Then the Lord will be established within the heart. But still, they've been blessed by the Sankirtan movement. They have a wonderful opportunity. And there are some, I mean, I met one boy who just, this was on Janmashtami, and he, somehow or another, he got first canto. He got the first canto and he was really intrigued by it. He wasn't coming from a devotional background at all. He wasn't Indian. He wasn't come from a Hindu tradition, but he was really interested by what he read. And then I pointed to, then he saw the whole set of the Bhagavatam and he took a whole set. So he's blessed. And we should be ready to follow up. We shouldn't just put books in people's houses. I mean, devotees do, is when they give a set out, then they get the contact of the person so that they can stay in touch, especially when they get a Bhagavatam set. Then you're going to want to cultivate their relationship with Bhagavatam and, so I don't know if that answers your question, Mother Rajkishore. So yes, persons are blessed, but for that blessing to really manifest, then they're going to have to read it.
Okay, thank you.
Prabhu, I thought of sharing something which happened
Please,
a long time ago. When I was doing guest greeting, you may remember the devotee who is with Mahavishnu Maharaj, Sunny.
Mahavishnu Maharaj, say again.
Mahavishnu Maharaj, who is serving His Holiness Mahavishnu Maharaj, Sunny.
Oh, Sunny, yeah, I know Sunny. I think we all know Sunny. Yeah.
Sunny,
serving him now.
Yeah. He walked into the temple, and I was doing guest greeting. This is much before COVID, maybe at least 4.
Yeah, I can remember. Yeah, I remember when he's first coming. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he came somehow. I don't know. Sat happened to speak to him, and he agreed to take a Bhagavatam set that time. And then after that, I was in touch with him and I was speaking to him. And all of a sudden, he's lost. Oh my God, what happened to this boy? Because he did mention he's having difficulties, ups and downs, relationship, all that. So I said, oh my God, what happened? And I was really, anyway, he got Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is going to protect him. One day he will appear. And I was thinking, all of a sudden during COVID, I was online watching.
And you saw him in temple.
God, is that Sunny? Yeah. And I was so happy. And then this is his journey, that's where he is now.
So
I
nice.
think
So he's an example of someone who got a Bhagavatam in a very early stage of his spiritual life by the grace of devotee.
He was really ready to take it.
Now he's serving in a very intimate and a very wonderful way. He's serving Mahavishnu Maharaj and taking great care of his material needs,
Yeah. And he's saying to me, and one time he was like, wherever you go, you come back, Sunny Prabhu. Yes. I think to always remember, this is my place. He will say like that whenever.
Yeah, so that's a nice example. And yeah, it's good that you followed up with some type of cultivation as well, and kept in touch, you know. But this is what's the time?
But I
It's 7 o'clock now. So this is second verse. It's a wonderful
Oh.
verse. So it's a good verse to learn if you can. I remember learning this verse many, many years ago, and somehow or another I can still remember it. It's a beautiful verse. All right. So next Monday we should be on, and we complete the Mangala Charan, where we text 3. It's another wonderful verse. Okay. So thank you for joining us, devotees. Thank you for joining us for this prayers of Srimad Bhagavatam. Finish the second verse. And tomorrow we're going to try and revisit and revive our Bhagavad Gita, at least this week. Next week I'll be traveling again, but at least just try and get together on Tuesday and Wednesday, okay? All right. So we stop there for today. And if you have time, please join us tomorrow for Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kontra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Patitalam Bhavane Vaishnavibhyo Namah.
Ram 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 Hari Hari.